Should the requirements to classify a person as legally insane be the same as the requirements to classify someone as clinically insane? What is insanity? Insanity, by definition, is the state of being seriously mentally ill or madness. The first known case with an insanity defense was recorded in 1581 by English legal treatises, and it was said that if a madman, a natural fool, or a lunatic in the time of his lunacy killed someone, then he could not be held accountable. Later, the British courts stumbled upon what they called the wild beast tests. Courts today are no longer allowed to use the term lunatic or wild beast in their defense. In an article called Insanity Defense by author Thomas Rudders, Rudders talks about the different methods of declaring someone legally insane. The general argument is that there are many ways to declare someone crazy, and should it be that easy? He talks about the disorder OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and how that may be classified by some people to be a medical disorder that could impair their judgment. But should someone with OCD get away with murder because of it? This is the point made by the article in Rudders. He also reminisces the four methods of declaring someone legally insane: the Magnot rule, the irresistible impulse test, the Durham rule, and the model penal code test for legal insanity. The thing that all these defenses have in common is that the defendant did not understand or was unable to process what he was doing at the time of his crime. In the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology, author John F. W. Meagher argues that the term mental disease is too vague and indeterminate. Conditions under this description fall from a mild indisposition to delirium, and the ways that medicine and law approach this are on two different playing fields. Law focuses to pin the responsibility on someone. They need a victim and a defendant, while a clinical approach is focusing on helping the defendant in his time of lunacy. The law focuses on the consequence of a result of insanity. He goes through many real-life cases where someone did not receive the insanity defense but was declared clinically insane by multiple professionals. One well-known example is Mr. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was declared clinically insane by a medical professional. When this defense was presented in court, the jury dismissed him and he was charged on normal grounds. Meagher's main focus is the corruption of the entire legal system. The ultimate objective of a legal investigation is to determine the question of responsibility, and this is how it should not be. The corrupt goal typically possesses the court to overlook actual mental state of the defendant and dismiss any medical advice. To have sanity, it is presumed that there is no evidence contrary to present to those whom are defending the accused. This is the claim made by Meagher. The idea of insanity is easily confused with the idea of those whom are smart. And the argument is that some or may one pretend to be crazy and get away with their crime. But what about the people who are actually insane and the ones who need medical attention rather than life in prison? In the online article by Mr. Douglas Starr, Can You Fake a Mental Illness?, Douglas Starr explains the idea of insanity defense and whether it should be clinically or judicially determined. He goes through the history of the insanity defense and debates whether experts have been using this as a way to get off or a way to make money. If its trained medical professional says someone is insane, then they are probably insane. It is that simple. It is no lie that our world is corrupt. People will say anything for money. In some cases, a doctor could classify someone as insane in the medical field to try and get this person off in the court of law. There are books written on how to pretend to be crazy, news articles as well. If this is such an easy thing to pretend to be, then how come only 1% of people receive insanity defense and the system is honest? Starr claims that insanity comes in all shapes and sizes, but when it comes to murder, who but a crazy person could do such a thing? This is the overall idea of his argument. He states the system is in fact a total disgrace to society. Nothing from the judicial system is honest, fair, or truthful.